Evening Campus, it is me, KDBooks, and it's the second week of Booker Boy Book Club. If you've not heard of this book club, basically for the next 10 weeks we are going to be discussing all of the Booker 2020 long list. The entire schedule will be linked down below. There is a Discord link where you can join over 50 of us now for the Booker Boy Book Club, which is like a little bit crazy, but if you want to talk to like-minded people about amazing literature, again, the Discord is the place to be. Also, you will have early access to every single review before we go live on YouTube. There were 2 books for this week. So earlier we have discussed Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, and now we are going to deal with Brandon Taylor's Real Life. Before this book made the long list, it was absolutely raved and adored by CJ Reid. The emotions that it brought out of her, its story, its message, even though I hadn't read it, really captured me, and it also captured Michaela, who I ended up buddy reading this with. So what is Real Life about? Simply, it's quite a basic story at heart. We follow the student Wallace, a black queer man in America who is studying microscopy and has a specialism in nematodes, and we see his life unfold over one long weekend with his friends. Fairly straightforward indeed, but Wallace comes with a lot of baggage. His father has recently passed away and he refused to go to the funeral for reasons unknown to his friends. Some of his friends don't even know that his father has died, and Wallace is really internally grappling with his own trauma. From the very first pages, we are aware of Wallace's emotional turmoil and how he might want to separate himself from his friends, disassociate himself from various aspects because he's dealing with grief. But what we see more so over this long weekend is not the personal struggles, but the societal struggles. All interactions that Wallace is faced with seems to come back to his sexuality and more so the colour of his skin, seeing that people don't really see why he's in this university and he's only got in because of the colour of his skin. The only reason why some friends divulge secrets to him is because of his sexuality. Wallace therefore is always dehumanized in some way, shape or form, rather than being a friend, a lover or a person. He just embodies a label. And apart from one scene in one very specific chapter, Brandon Taylor never sensationalizes those small but violent acts that Wallace is subjugated to with every single person he encounters, of which I am truly grateful that Brandon Taylor took this artistic direction, because at times when a scene is force-feeding you the answers, it doesn't leave impact. More so in these subtleties. It's getting quite dark, okay. I don't really want to look like I have a halo over my head. Where was I? Sensationalization. What you will experience from reading Real Life is not so much cataclysmic climaxes. You won't have events that leave friends shell-shocked and paralysed. Instead, we have quite beautifully people speaking as plainly as possible while the subtext screams in your face. Wallace's disassociation is not due to the fact that he is beat down by his sister, but more so because he is constantly being whittled away. Remember, this is based over 1 week, and I do not believe Brandon Taylor ever sought to criticize grand themes within this book. More so, he is interested in putting his characters under a lens. One of the most influential French authors is Emile Zola, who started the movement of naturalism within works. What Zola sought to achieve was, rather than replicating real life, was more so to put his characters under a microscope, rejected romanticism of thieves and more so embracing detachment in characters, which is exactly what we have in real life. Again, Wallace studies microscopy. He's constantly looking under a microscope, trying to determine answers to which he does not have. Wallace's detachment is not due to grand schemes. It's more so because the characters are representing the issues of that society, something that naturalism sought to obtain rather than realism. I believe that real life is not trying to replicate real life in any way, shape or form. More so, it's trying to understand real life, trying to understand people and how they act in a vacuum. Each instance in this book that requires a resolution almost feels incomplete. It's not incoherent, it's just in order for us to fill in those gaps. And how Brandon Taylor does this is so good. It's tension building. The scene which unfolds over a dinner party in this book truly builds that tension fantastically. Simultaneously, you are sucking your teeth dry, almost cringing at the characters trying to find truth, dig a hole, expertly lie, or just succumb to what has been said. Taylor guides you to side with Wallace and Cole in that specific situation, but no outcome would be a net positive for every person sat around that table. And one of the characters says that this is real life, and truly that summarizes this entire book completely. The objective of this book is not to make you as a reader passive or complicit. You are an audience member with actors on a stage portraying life as it is. And just as Wallace as a scientist needs to look through that microscope and deduce what's going to happen, make predictions and assessments based on the data that we are shown. And ultimately, if this experiment does not give you conclusive answers, you have to make a judgment on what went wrong and what could have been done to prevent that. Overall, this is a stunning debut that really encapsulates the zeitgeist of tension that is happening in America. For me, this is an 8 out of 10, and please let me know in the comments what you felt about it, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we will be talking about Shuggie, Bain by Douglas Stuart. I'll see you then. Bye!